My Hero Academia is a very impressive show, no doubt about that. The show single-handedly changed my opinion of the superhero genre. Speaking of which, I know I've never shared this, but I'm actually a super big fan of both DC and Marvel superhero movies. Well, with a few exceptions. So today's video is going to be a bit different. Today I'll be explaining the differences and similarities between My Hero Academia and Western superhero movies. Now, I don't think most of you will find it unusual that My Hero Academia and most Western superhero movies have a lot in common. But this actually hasn't always been the case. The genre has recently shifted towards this. Actually, before I begin, I should mention that it's really hard to find examples of strictly superhero anime. So for some of my examples, I'll be using shonen anime that don't particularly fall into the superhero genre, but are pretty close nonetheless. Sorry, I literally looked everywhere, and the only two I could find were One Punch Man and Tiger and Bunny. Either way, I want to start this video off with an example of one of the big moral shifts I've noticed from Eastern ideologies to Western ideologies. I know it's not technically fair, but Naruto will be my example. Naruto's base foundation is the belief of working together with friends, i.e. teamwork. These values that Naruto holds are essentially uncontested and are always the right choice. One specific example being the very first arc with Gaara. This is more so of Eastern ideology, the belief in the group and working together. Now let's look at basically any Marvel movie. Just random pick, but let's go with Iron Man 1. The movie is about how Tony Stark can deal with his own problems through intelligence and wit. The movie specifically focuses on the individual, which is a more Western ideology, focusing on one's own abilities to conquer with very little to no outside help. The pretty interesting thing about this is that My Hero Academia is the exact same way. My Hero Academia actually follows the Western ideologies of improving through oneself, the power of the individual. So much so to the point where individuality is one of the major themes of this show. This is one of the major reasons why the show is so popular in the West, being considered as one of the top 10 foreign shows to come to the US, according to the New York Times. Now, My Hero Academia doesn't share all Western ideologies. I think what's important is that the show balances both Western and Eastern ideals. So let's go over some techniques that are usually only found in Eastern writing that My Hero Academia does while Western superhero movies don't. Indisputable number one strongest. In Marvel and DC movies, there's never really one character whom is the indisputable number one strongest. You could argue Superman, but he's such an unusual character who dies anyway. Oh, spoiler alert. Most characters in the Marvel movies are significantly stronger than normal humans, but none ever completely ellipse everyone else. This is absolutely not the case with My Hero Academia. There is literally a position called number one hero that is occupied by a hero that outclasses everyone. And I looked this up, and this is actually a pretty common trope in Eastern literature, but it's much less common in Western films. Another interesting difference is in the complexity of the superpowers. Generally, in most Western movies, one's superpowers are pretty standard in both execution and method of obtaining. Science experiment gone wrong, gains super strength. Born a Greek god from another world, falls into a vat of goop, becomes a tactical genius. Not to mention, the way they use their powers is never really anything special. Thor rains lightning sometimes, Tony Stark uses his machine guns, Hulk just hits stuff really hard. There's nothing really further than that. I personally believe My Hero Academia handles superpowers in a much better way than their Western counterparts. The superpowers have rules and consequences to their use. Uraraka gets nauseous when she uses her powers too much, while Tokiyami's fears light. My Hero Academia focuses much more on the uniqueness of the power and how they can be applied. One of my favorite examples being Bakugo. They could have just made his power the ability to explode things, but it's much more complicated than that. Bakugo's ability is that he sweats a nitroglycerin-like substance and is able to ignite it, thus giving a unique twist along with some limitations to his own power. This is where I bring something up I said earlier in the video. This show single-handedly changed my opinion about the superhero genre. I enjoyed Marvel and DC movies, but to me, they've just gotten way too formulaic and boring. I used to enjoy this genre heavily, but when I can watch the first 10 minutes of the movie and predict the rest of the movie down to the wire, it's just not fun. I think why My Hero Academia has made me love this genre so much again is the fact that it very clearly took inspiration from Western superheroes, but still held on to most of its Eastern values, making the show unique in both Japan and America, turning it into this massive hit that it is today. Now, 1 second before you guys leave the video. So I really wanted to do this face-to-face because lately we haven't really had time for it, and just recently, this past week, we passed 10,000 subscribers, which is just a ridiculous milestone. I really wanted to find a way that I could properly celebrate 10,000 subscribers, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized that this would have been impossible without you guys. So instead of celebrating 10,000 subscribers by drinking myself half to death or eating some ridiculously hot chili pepper, I've decided to ask you guys to go check out a few channels that helped us get to where we are today. These are people who have been helping behind the scenes for longer than you probably know. So these are the 6 channels I asked you guys to go check out and see if you like. Number 1, the Anime Corner / Jayla Lang. These two were the original people who found my channel and asked to collab and really helped me out. This was back when I was at 36 subscribers. And since then they have done nothing but promote my content, help me out, always being there, especially Jayla and the Anime Corner. She's part of the Anime Corner, it's comprised of 2 people. But these guys have just always, like when times were rough, when I thought about quitting the channel, always kind of boosted me up and helped me keep the channel going. Number 2, Hyper Studios. Hyper is the first actual friend I made on YouTube. I didn't really talk to many other anime YouTubers before then, but Hyper came out and reached out to me. And we started chatting, and originally it was just for collabs and stuff like that, but then we just started conversating a lot more, and then we made the Discord server together, and we've had our ups and downs. I mean, I know Hyper will agree to that too, but in the end, I think we're both still really good friends, and if it wasn't for him, I don't think I'd be as determined to continue doing the work that I do. Number 3, MudanTV. Now, once again, another just bro, cool friend, but this is one of those guys who I really want you guys to go check out for like 110% because his content's just better than mine in every single way, shape, and form. And he's such a good friend, and he hasn't even hit 1,000 subscribers yet, and he's really close. So if I put him over 1,000 subscribers, he'll be forever in my debt. So go check him out. Now the next 3 are much bigger channels than I am, but still please go check them out because they are that big of an influence on me. Number 4 is gonna be Duo Review. This guy probably didn't realize how much he's helped my channel. He's always been there, we kind of chat, BS back and forth. But on top of that, he's basically the main person who spiked my channel as high as it's gotten. For those of you who don't know, a month ago, I don't think I was even at 5,000 subscribers, but then we did the collab. And then thanks to that, I kind of opened my eyes about how to properly kind of push my channel. And he's always a good friend to BS with on analytics and how to properly improve our channels. And in 5th place, I have OtakuVS, more specifically Yusu from OtakuVS. I would like to call him a friend, but we're just kind of acquaintances. We've only talked once, but the one time we talked, he completely changed my views on how to create anime content, and for that I am forever thankful. I know he probably doesn't even realize it, but for him, he has completely changed how I create content. He's the reason why my new style exists now, and I owe so much of my channel's success to him, and he probably, like I said, doesn't even realize it. And number 6, I cannot forget one of the biggest inspirations for this channel, Adil from AnimeBallsDeep. This guy was one of the very first people to ever reach out to me to show me kindness, to try to help me improve my content, and is just a true friend. Like, a lot of the other big anime YouTubers just completely ignored me, which is, understandable, but where no one else gave me a chance, Adil did. And we talked, we BS so much back and forth about YouTube. He really helped open my eyes about just, it doesn't matter how big your channel is, it's about the kind of content you create and whether or not you're happy with making it or not. And I would like to also thank all of my subscribers. Without you guys, this would obviously be impossible. And it's nice to see all the kind comments you guys have to say, along with the critical ones that help me improve. But as I said earlier, without these 7 people, this channel would just not exist anymore. I think I would have quit probably at the 1-year mark. If you guys don't mind, please go check out all 6 of these channels and 7 people. Sorry, that's why that number is kind of confusing. They all make very good content, and I think you guys will like them. Anyway, the gist of what I'm saying is, thank you guys so much for 10,000 subscribers. Without all of you, this would be impossible. Either way, this is Manime Matt. Make sure you guys say, man, go watch that goddamn anime.